Comrade Oriente, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Oriente, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Oriente, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Oriente, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show.
Hello. Yes, a very good evening to you all, Edo people and Nigerians across the world. This is the Comrade Show. And of course, this is the segment we call the Comrade and Friends. It is a segment where the comrade and of course the musketeers of the Comrade Show are together discussing national issues. It's one segment that some part of our society have come to know as the Sunday tonic. Of course, I have the musketeers right in the house, and we're going to be looking at issues bordering on Nigeria today, particularly looking at these issues through the eye of the governor of Edo State, because recently the governor, in an interactive section with stakeholders and a transition committee of the Edo State government, of course, opened our eye to issues bordering on the Nigerian economy, issues that one would hear and would not be settled, because these are issues very unsettling. It makes it look like Nigeria today is looking like a balloon waiting to just get some punch and get burst, and of course everybody will be unsettled, as it were. We're going to be looking at these issues. Of course, another issue that has become a talking point with the Edo State government, it has been the issue of the governor of Edo State not forming his cabinet. We don't have commissioners, we don't have special advisors, we don't have those political appointees that, of course, that some people regard as the oil of government, because they sort of make governance work. We're going to look at those issues, because in this interactive section that the governor held with the stakeholders and of course his transition committee, he did mention some things in relation to this. Of course, the commission is going to be taking a look at this as holistically as possible, and of course some members of the team equally have some message for the governor and of course for Nigeria. Beyond that, if time permits us, we're going to look at some issues of Nigeria or Nigerians fighting against Nigerians. I want to know why, because recently there's a footage that actually is making the round with Nigerians protesting against Buhari, abandoning Nigeria and going to London, okay, to go and relax, for medical vacation and all of that. Meanwhile, our own medical infrastructure is in shambles. It's if, as a matter of fact, it's got no attention from government, and yet the leader of the government is in London, and Nigerians are complaining. When Nigerians are complaining, some other group of Nigerians, gathered, okay, to defend the government and of course to defend Buhari being in London. And so there was this video we saw that appeared to be some sort of clash. So I want to look at those things. I want to look at why these things are the way they are, and why are we always like this? Not just with this issue, but with so many other things. When there's agitation for something that is good, you find it counter agitation. to counter those trying to defend that which is good for the country and all of that. It's a culture that is not a strange one to us, but we want to look at it in the course of this program. Meanwhile, of course, we are equally going to use this program to commiserate with the royal house of the United Kingdom. That's talking of the monarchy, over the death of the husband of the Queen. Of course, this is a matter right now that is very much a talking point, by everybody in this world. Of course, we're going to equally talk about this as much as we possibly can. On that note, I want to quickly bring on the musketeer so we hit the ground running. Meanwhile, my apologies that we are starting this program a bit behind schedule. Always trying to set up the technical aspects of this matter, but we're not going to waste more time. Let me quickly bring on board the members of the musketeer. Of course, I have in the house one who actually needs no introduction. I'm going to be starting with Dr. Tony Agbons. Dr. Agbons, just say hello to the people, bros.
People, greetings from me to all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching us in the world. Happy Sunday to every one of you. It's good to be back here on this our Sunday program. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, my brother. We equally have another musketeer in the house, pharmacist Austin Iremira. Don't forget, all of these guys, they are comrades in themselves. Comrade Austin Iremira.
Thank you so much once again, my brother Lamte and my very good brother too, Comrade Tony Agbons. It's always a pleasure to be here. For our viewers, I say God bless you now for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. You are welcome again to our speed program, what we call the Sunday Tonic. God bless you now for joining us.
Thank you very much, my brothers. We're going to start on this note. A few days back, the governor of Edo State held a meeting with the transition committee and, of course, stakeholders to discuss issues bordering on the state economy. And, of course, he touched on some issues bordering on the federal government of Nigeria. We're going to play, an excerpt, of that long discourse, particularly from the mouth of the governor. We're going to hear some things, and we're going to try to look at some of these issues as they come. So two major parts of these issues, we're going to be looking at them. So let's just listen to the governor speak.
Yeah. As the head of service pointed out, after we took over government, after the inauguration on November 12th, I did say that we will not make any appointments until we go through a certain transformation process, which we had started, and that we needed a minimum of 90 days to settle down to go through this transformation. I want to thank all of you for the understanding and for allowing us to go ahead to do what we had promised that we would do. We needed that time. Unfortunately, because of the second wave of COVID, it had to be extended. It's not completely finished, but I believe right now we know where we are going. We know what needs to transform. So we can now move ahead to now form government. The last point I want to make on this, the general issue, is that the world has changed. Nigeria has changed. The economy of Nigeria is not the same again, whether we like it or not. You see, we have been managing, since the Civil War, we say money is not our problem. As long as we're pumping crude oil every day, there will always be money. So we have run a very strange economy and strange presidential system where people, the local government, state government, federal government, at the end of the month, they go and earn salary. We're the only country in the world that does that. Everywhere else, governments rely on the people to produce taxes, and they collect taxes, and it's the taxes they use to run the local governments, the state, or the federation. But the way we ran Nigeria, and subsequently the politics up till now, is that it doesn't matter. The country can go on holiday. The country can go and sleep. At the end of the month, we all just go to Abuja and we collect money and we come back and we spend. My brothers and sisters, I am an economist. I'm an investment banker. We are in trouble. Huge financial trouble. First, what we used to rely on, crude oil. Forget what you are seeing now at $70, $60 a barrel. It is only a mirage. It's only a question of time. Because the major oil companies, Shell, Chevron, who are the ones producing, they are no longer investing as much in oil. Chevron is now one of the world's largest investors in alternative fuel. Shell.
We are in trouble. Serious trouble. Those are the words of the governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki. But we're going to start from Edo State because one huge talking point, by Edo people is that people are asking, why has the government not formed his cabinet? Why is the government not running, in full swing up until now? This government was inaugurated in November, and it's 4 months down the line, and yet, and the governor did try to explain a few things here. He did say that they promised that within they require not less than 90 days to set up all the framework and all the structures. And 90 days ought to have expired, or rather expired in February. This is April. Dr. Agbons, can we explain this?
Thank you, my brother, Comrade Lamte, for creating a very good background for us to begin this discussion. I listened carefully to the full speech of the governor during that stakeholders transition committee meeting of Edo State during the week. And I agree to certain things the governor has said. They needed to, put certain framework in place. The transition committee needed to develop some models and all that. But I want to, at this point, I want to, say this categorically, that for the machinery of government to kick off properly, that the governor needs to constitute the State Executive Council so that all hands will be on deck, because the work to be done is huge. To be honest, from November till now, it is 6 months, because we are in April. If I can remember, I think the inauguration was done November 12th or so. So today is April the 11th. So it's exactly, tomorrow will make it 6 months. So I can understand that there were court cases, not to scare the.
I think that will be 5 months.
Okay, November to April. Yeah, 5 months. Yes, thank you. There, 5 months. Yeah. So you can understand that there were some extraneous factors. But look, my brother, let's call a spade a spade. For me, I expect that the Edo State Executive Council, like commissioners and those key positions that we make the executive arm of government to function properly, they need to come in place this month of April. Otherwise, it will be sending a wrong signal, even to the opposition, for them to get an opportunity to bring some needles in and start punching. So that is what I would say for now.
Pharmacist Iremira, Dr. Agbon says if by the end of April the cabinet is not formed, it will be sending wrong signals. And the governor had said that they needed not less than 90 days, which actually expired in February, and it's April. And of course, he did say that the second wave of COVID-19 and a few other things, okay, delay this process. Of course, he said too that we are now coming to the end of the process and that the government is ready to form government. Would you agree to say that the government must operate, within a timeline that does not exceed beyond April? Pharmacist Remiran.
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte, and I want to thank my brother Tony for that very good input into the situation that we are talking about just now. Well, having lived in Europe for a very long time, I want to be a bit very, very circumspect of time in wanting to achieve something in any government, because the people would always hold you responsible if you fail. I wouldn't want the governor and the government to put themselves under any undue timeline just now. If we say forming the government by the end of April, it means the governor has got only 2 weeks left to achieve this. On the basis of that discussion last week, I am not 100% sure that the cabinet is almost ready. So on that note, I will differ slightly with my brother Tony to say that the governor should form the cabinet as soon as possible. But because he has, I believe he's learned his lesson now, he didn't put any timeline, let us give him a chance. I'll be looking to probably towards the end of May at the best. So I wouldn't want any timeline to be added to it just now. Because if not for the explanation he gave, many Edos, many concerned Edos, those in Nigeria and those in diaspora, were already getting worried because the governor said 90 days. But in that discussion, he went further to explain that he said a minimum of 90 days. So sometimes it becomes slightly conflicting. But having said that, in the life of a new government is a long time. We can have excuses for the life of the 4 years not to have the government, but it is important and it's necessary for that to be formed. So on that premise, I would say the governor should do the needful without putting any particular time to it, but it needs to be done as soon as possible.
I want to
go ahead, sir.
I want to differ with Pharmacist Remira. Okay. And this is where I always enjoy this program, because we tend to always bring our opinions from our experience and from what we think is the best way to carry everybody along. I was happy when my brother Iremina said he has lived in Europe. Look, I know that the conditions in Europe and the conditions in Nigeria, they are quite different. But you even agree with me that even in Europe, sometimes some people even form a government within 1 week. Yeah, so but I agree that the conditions are different. But the truth be said, timing is of essence when it comes to governance. 5 months is a long enough time, because, like we always say, when you are traveling on a journey, you carry everything along. While the transition committee was doing the work, the huge work they were doing, then the selection process is just about, oh, this one is capable, this one is not able to. So we all know how these things work. As a lot of us,
Tony, there is a part of that except that we did not play, which the governor explained. For those who may have listened to the entire clip, the governor established, okay, that the job of governance is going on, particularly with civil servants, and he is strengthening the civil service right now. Okay, everything right now. At some point, he did ask the people, the political appointees, they are coming to come and receive money to be paid. what difference are they really coming to make? He insinuated that. You understand what I'm saying now? By way of like, probably that is one of the reasons why it's not under pressure, because what they ought to be doing, you know, the permanent secretaries are there, they are doing it, the civil servants are there, they are doing it, and all of that. Do you see, does that argument hold water?
Yeah, there's a good argument there, and because you have permanent secretary, you have the civil service running things. But I'm just speaking from the. It's only unfortunate that our constitution. This is one area where our constitution is not definitive. Our constitution never clearly stated a timeline where a governor or a president should constitute his executive council. So we have this leeway. Let's just hope. My fear is that let's just hope that one day we don't get a dictatorial and an autocratic leader, either at the presidential or governorship level. A day will come where we may have somebody, you know, being a governor, being a president, and maybe 1 year he will not constitute his executive council. But one thing I must commend the governor, even though personally I'm running a bit out of patience with this time lag, is that the governor has succeeded through this meeting this week, this stakeholders meeting, he has succeeded in dampening expectations, because the governor, being an economist, he knows how to, you know, manage expenditure, you know, make sure that you don't spend money he's very frugal when it comes to financial management. He doesn't just throw money all over the place. So, but in that meeting, in that speech, the governor has managed the expectations. So I'm sure those that are coming in now, who the appointees, because one thing with our people is that a lot of our people see political appointment as opportunity to hammer. Make I also go make my own. So in that meeting, I think the governor has really succeeded in sending a message across that, look, there is no money, because you saw the figures. By the time we look at the other aspect of this discussion, you saw the figures the governor was ruling out about how money comes from Abuja. By the time you pay salaries and pension and expenditure of legislators and all that, the money is almost finished. So I think to that extent, the governor has dampened expectation of the political appointees that are coming in.
Just come in. Can
Go
I
ahead,
just come in briefly? Yeah, just to say, myself and Tony, we are in tandem with what we are saying. We all want the governor to get the cabinet ready almost immediately. But for some reasons, it has not happened. The only point where I differ from Tony is I wouldn't want the governor to fail the second time by creating the timeline. I would just want him to just go ahead and inaugurate his cabinet as soon as possible.
As he failed the first time. You're using the word failure the second time. As he failed the first time.
I'm not saying fail, but I haven't put a time frame and it wasn't achieved. Detractors and people on the other side may not understand, and they will say, yes, he didn't keep to his promise. So I wouldn't want him to be seen breaking his promise again. It is only on that note that I'm disagreeing with my brother to say that we should not say the end of April. The government should go ahead and form his cabinet as soon as possible.
Sorry, sir. With all due respect to you, pharmacist, Iremira. Tony, the governor said, according to him, in his words, right, the excerpt we just watched, he said that they need not less than 90 days, which meant that 90 days actually expired in February. It could actually be March, it could be April, it could be May, it could be December. Does he have that latitude, Dr. Agbons?
I don't think he has that latitude, and I don't think, even if he has the latitude, looking at his kind of person, I'm not even sure he will want to use that kind of latitude. I think he gave a reason. You see why all these permutations and all these calculations came about is that, and this is what we have repeatedly said in our governance style in Nigeria. It is all about managing information. You see, at the end of that 90 days, I would have expected that information would have come out from the governor's office, maybe from the office of the secretary to government, to say, our Edo people, we actually said not less than 90 days. We are still on this thing. Until this meeting this week, there has not been any government official pronouncement on the constitution of the State Executive Council. There has not been any. So, and these kind of things gives room for, them say, they not say, and all that kind of thing, which is not good for collective governance, which this current governor is really championing. But I must give it to him. Having that stakeholders meeting with key stakeholders of the political party, the transition team was a good start. So when I said April, it's my own proposition. It's not as if I'm dictating any timeline. It really doesn't matter anyway. I just feel that with that public meeting, I believe there is a lot of underground work going on within the transition team and within the governor's team to make sure that the cabinet is announced. But knowing Governor Obaseki, I don't think he's going to put any timeline. And I believe that this executive council will be constituted. I believe in my spirit that it will happen this April.
Very well. Look, Pharmacist Remiran, a lot of people are beginning to make a lot of judgments about the government of Edo State, about the governor himself. The governor himself acknowledged, he did say in part of his longest speech that he made very good use of the social media and he understands the power of the social media, and that when they come after you as an elected leader, okay, it's going to be a problem and all of that. Now, people, I must say this on air, a lot of people are beginning to express fears and people are beginning to express disappointment that what they expected to see happening in the States is not happening. As a matter of fact, to sum it down, so many other people are beginning to express lack of confidence. These are even the support base of the governor himself, as it were. Looking at how the election came and all of that, people are beginning to lose patience, lose confidence in the government and in the governor, so to speak. Do you think that is rational, Pharmacist Remiran?
Thank you so much, my brother Lante. To some extent, I will say yes. It depends on the angle for which you are looking at it from. Like I've said repeatedly on this program, I like a leader or person in position who can talk the talk and walk the walk as well, and also understand it. I first fell in love with this governor when I met him in 2016, when he was talking. And having listened to the speech again 2 days ago, I was even more excited. Excited in the sense that he did not only speak, he also gave what you just posited. He told us the danger of the media. He told us the danger of using online and that they will come after you. So what that suggests is that the governor is aware of the likely problems. According to you, how you just said, some people are already going away from his camp because they feel it's not delivering. So the governor knows already that one, he has to deliver on his promise. Time is of essence, and he will be judged by what he has said. So yes, they are. And Tony explained just now, which is very good. We need to communicate. Before now, there were so many information and innuendos about all this. But that meeting last week sort of doused tension. Communication is very key. Nobody can read the mind of Tony or the mind of yourself, except you speak out. So those managing this should at least always be circumspect of what the people would say and how they carry the people along. I believe the governor has learned from it. I think the stakeholders meeting that happened last week happened rather too late, but it can never be too late in the life of the government. So that's good. That set another barometer again for us to move forward. But the governor, I think, is aware, should even be more aware and set his team to work even more proactive. You have to be proactive. You have to read the mind of the people. See, our politics, we all know that as soon as you get into office, you appoint your cabinet. That is a given. But Governor Obaseki has come. Remember, this is not his first term. It's his second term. But he has seen lots of damages and he's trying to correct them. He has come to realize that the civil service is the key for any government to function properly. He has been doing that. But up until last week, many of us, especially the uneducated, were not aware. So carrying your people along is very, very important. You may not deliver on everything, but if you know what you have and how you will deliver, they will key into it. I know in the course of this program, we're going to be talking about the 5 billion remittance to Edo State government. The governor have explained it and saying that he has, at the end of the day, he has only 90 million. So if the people are holding him accountable, we should then hold him accountable on what he has said and the monies that are available for these projects to be done. So to answer your question point blank, those that are against him on this issue, they have a reason. And those that are not against also have a reason. But the governor has come out by last week's program to clear the air. And I will join my brother Tony without saying that I should put any timeline, but that forming of cabinet should happen sooner rather than later.
Okay, Dr. Agbons, I want to ask you, a double-edged question. Now, should public opinion matter to the governor if this governor is actually going to deliver on his promises? Dr. Agbons.
Oh yes, this is a let me borrow from Austin. Point blank, yes, public opinion should matter. And comrade, let me just tee off from what you said, that the governor in his speech during the stakeholders meeting did talk about the power of the social media. This is not the days of NTA, where you just hear from only one source. And the governor did say that with a smartphone, all the campaign promises that were made, people have recorded it. They are all on social media. And he even said something that during his campaign, they were also playing videos of other people. He said, so that is how, when they take their candidate in 2023 for the next governorship election, people will be playing videos that, you promised us, you didn't deliver. So that awareness from the governor was very reassuring for me, and I love that. So public opinion matters, and the governor himself is very active on social media. I look at his Twitter handle all the time. I look at his Facebook page. He's very active. And from information I gather, I understand that he goes through a lot of these things himself. He takes his time to check what people are really doing. So public opinion should. In fact, one of the reasons why we are where we are as a society, even in Edo State, is that most times government have this disconnect from the people. So, but when you have this feedback system between you and the governed, it helps a lot in helping those in government. Because I must tell you, my brother, I've had friends who have served in government. When you get into government, there is a bubble somewhere. And sometimes people get lost in this bubble and they really get detached from the ordinary citizen. So it is very, very important.
Pharmacists, given where we are, and this one is directly to the Edo people who appear to be disenchanted already. Is there a word of reassurance for the Edo people who are disenchanted just now?
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. There is. Remember, in a few episodes ago, I told us, I still maintain that Governor Obaseki will lead us, but may not take us to the promised land. It is that leading that we need. On that premise, that we see that somebody taking a step, because they say the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. The step he has taken gives an indication that there's a ray of hope and that we may get to the promised land. So on that note, I will appeal to all Edolites, according to Ambassador Matthew Biki Wifo, to give the support that they all need, to give this government all the support, not just physical support, but spiritual support, because we must understand where we are coming from. If you don't understand where you are coming from, you may not know where you are going to. If we both agree that there has been decadence in the system, that we have said repeatedly on countless occasions on this program, that good governance ended up with Ambrose Ali, it means that there has been over 21 years of bad government and things not being done properly. It will take some time for that to be phased out. I know we are anxious, time is of essence, But we should support the governor. And I believe the governor will take us there. So on that note, I appeal to Edolites and indeed Nigerians. All we owe this government is constructive criticism, support where necessary, and prayers as well, because it is not easy. Given the fact that so many people are positive, there are so many negative people within the system who are negative not because the government is failing, they are negative because they've lost out. So you see, the challenge is enormous. We owe him a debt of prayers, physical support where possible, but we must criticize, and our criticism must be constructive. So I think Edolites have every reason to support this governor.
Thank you very much, former sister Irem. Somebody told me recently, he said, Comrade, I believe in the governor, and I believe he's going to succeed. But we have too much theory. We want to see some practicals on the ground. And I laughed. And I asked, I said, what do you mean by too much theory? He said, every now and again, the governor is signing one, agreement and the other, in agriculture, on this, on that, and that, you understand? That they want to see things actually moving on the ground. They want to see the rain is coming, and Edo State needs to be better prepared. Just some rain fell the other day, and in fact, nowhere to pass. Everywhere was, erosion was everywhere, and all of that. I understand these concerns myself, and to be very honest, I am concerned myself. And but I want to say that we have analyzed the governor of Edo State. We have looked at him almost inside out, based on what he says and based on some of the things he's been doing. We have confidence still that this government is going to deliver on its promises. Of course, we are going to hold the government accountable every step of the way. You understand? Like the team said, let us give him some time. I personally don't believe at all that the issue of cabinet formation should actually be a yardstick to judge government performance. To be very honest, I don't believe in that. It's not a yardstick for me, because if cabinet is not formed and Edo State is in the right order and everything is in place, Edo State currently, environmental wise is very dirty. I think the state need to be clean. We need to have light. We need to have some of those basic things that impact our people directly. So if we can get them without having commissioners, then there is no need to have with commissioners. If we can get some of these basic things without having appointed officers, then there is no need for appointed officers. Let us be getting them. You understand? So I think these are the areas that some of us are concerned about. We need light. We need to ensure that we control flood in Edo State. We need to keep Edo State clean. We're having a National Sports Festival right now. Edo State is not clean. I am not blaming the governor on this, okay? There are local government councils who are supposed to take care of their own local governments, but everything will not come to the government house, to the governor's table and all of that. But we need to look at this and all of that. We need to beautify our city and make our place all right. And I believe strongly too that there are so many individuals right now who are making huge contributions towards national development as far as Edo State is concerned. More people need to come in and invest in their local government, invest in their communities, invest in their streets, galvanize people to build, the state, in collaboration with what government is doing. But that is not to say we will not continue to hold the government accountable, and that is what we'll continue to do. Now, that's for Edo State. Guys, I want to go to the national matter. I'm not going to the issues that the governor discussed, the concerns he raised about the federal government of Nigeria. Dr. Agbons, are we right to say that the governor may have shot himself in the leg by revealing some of these secrets? Because until he revealed them, some of them were still secrets to majority of Nigerians. For instance, the issue of, the federal government of Nigeria, they printed between 50 to 60 billion to make up for what the states are taking. Is the governor shooting himself in the foot?
Thank you, Comrade Lamte. Not at all. And kudos to the Edo State governor for that huge revelation of the national level and what is happening at the national economic level. The printing of between 50 to 60 billion naira recently by the federal government. Like you said, many of us did not even know about it. So thanks to the governor. This is the kind of thing we have been clamoring for. This is what we call being on the side of the people and not playing to the gallery. So the governor has done well, and he means well, and he should be commended for, bringing this to the open. So what the governor has succeeded in doing is that he has, brought a huge issue that require our narration, and that is why we are discussing this now. So he has done well. So some of us are not like professional economists, but the basic economics we know tells me that when you print money like that, even in Europe, they do print money. In Americans have done it, the British, they do it. In a productive environment, when you use it for productive activity, manufacturing and all that, it helps to create a buffer for the economy. But in our consumption-based economy, like the type we run in Nigeria, where everybody does is only you just go to Abuja, go and take money and use it to pay salaries for what do they call that expenditure?
Recurrent.
Recurrent. Thank you. They use it for recurrent. It is not for capital expenditure. So what it causes will be inflation. And we are talking of Edo State. Edo State is part of Nigeria. So kudos to the governor for the huge revelation. I'm really happy. I was pleased. And I was really pleased hearing him say that. And let us not forget, our governor is coming from an economic background. He's an economist as well as an investment banker. So he understood, he understands what he's saying. He knows what he's talking about. And I must tell you this, I believe that even in the Federal Executive Council, I'm sure the governor has talked about this thing. Probably nobody listened to him at that level.
Pharmacist Remira, I'm going to come to you. Before we start discussing some of the concerns, raised by the governor of Edo State. From the way the governor spoke, would it be right to say that we see a man who is a candidate for the presidency of Nigeria?
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. Anything relating to the presidency of Nigeria come 2023 has not got my support just now, because I don't know if 2023 will come. I don't know if there will be Nigeria. But if there is Nigeria that is restructured, I have no doubt in my mind that Governor Obaseki, remember I told you, I fell in love with him, nobody talking to me about him. I was in a conference where he spoke. And for a very long time, I've been yearning to look at my leader that can talk of virtually everything. And that's why I fell in love with him. So he is a ripe candidate for it, if he ever comes. So
Okay.
he will get my support. And then
Very
just
well.
to add to what Tony said just now, when you know your stuff, you begin to talk. By the time Governor Obaseki was talking about Nigeria borrowing money, he was not talking anymore as a governor. He was talking more as Obaseki, the economist.
Interesting. Dr. Agbons, I'm throwing the same question to you. Obaseki said, if you look at the entire claim, he said, for those who are clamoring for Nigeria to divide, he said Nigeria will never divide. Those are just hollow speeches and, what people are, that clamor will never come to pass. You understand? And that all we need to do, by way of inference, is for us to fix our country and make it workable for us. With the way the governor spoke, would you, the same question I asked from Mrs. Remiran, would you say that this governor is one who is preparing to become president of Nigeria to, of course, lead us out of this imbroglio? Dr. Agbons.
Thank you, Comrade Lante. just to also support what Austin said, and without sounding patronizing, because most times when we speak on this program, you see comment from people, you receive phone calls and WhatsApp messages, and they are saying that, people are just, you are pampering and using sweet words. My belief is this: if somebody has done well in a particular thing, let us commend. And like Austin also said just now, if we are to criticize, let us criticize objectively and not criticize to destroy. Because in Nigeria, most of the times when we criticize, we are criticizing just to pull the person down. So in terms of presidency, he will be a good candidate. In some other climb, if we're in some other climb, you will see the clamor will really be huge. But knowing Nigeria and the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria, how we share, okay, it is the turn of the north, it is the turn of the south, southwest, this and that. So we have all those challenges. But if you look at intellectual ability, know-how, expertise, competence, I think, yeah, he's indeed, he's up there. He's in that group. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, now let's look at some of the matters. He said, in his words, we are in trouble. We are in deep trouble as a country. And the governor did say, as part of that broadcast, he said he's not looking at 10 years' time. He's looking at within the next 1 to 2 years. If things are not done the way they ought to be done, then we're in trouble. And of course, he established, I think for the benefit of this line of discourse, this clip is just 3 minutes. Permit me to play the clip again. Let us hear the governor, talk about some of these things again. Please, let's just watch.
Is that the world has changed. Nigeria has changed. The economy of Nigeria is not the same again, whether we like it or not. You see, we have been managing, since the Civil War, we say money is not our problem. As long as we're pumping crude oil every day, there will always be money. So we have run a very strange economy and strange presidential system where people, the local government, state government, federal government, at the end of the month, they go and earn salary. We're the only country in the world that does that. Everywhere else, governments rely on the people to produce taxes, and they collect taxes, and it's the taxes they use to run the local governments, the state, or the federation. But the way we run Nigeria, and subsequently the politics up till now, is that it doesn't matter. The country can go on holiday. The country can go and sleep. At the end of the month, we all just go to Abuja and we collect money and we come back and we spend. My brothers and sisters, I am an economist. I'm an investment banker. We are in trouble. Huge financial trouble. First, what we used to rely on, crude oil. Forget what you are seeing now at $70, $60 a barrel. It is only a mirage. It's only a question of time. Because the major oil companies, Shell, Chevron, who are the ones producing, they are no longer investing as much in oil. Chevron is now one of the world's largest investors in alternative fuel.
We are in trouble. We are in serious trouble. The words of the governor of Edo State. Pharmacist Remira, are we in trouble?
Absolutely, we are. And the governor is just trying to be economical with the truth. I wouldn't blame him. As a governor of one of the 36 states, he has to be careful. But the simple thing is just telling us, to the cerebral, educated mind, is that we have to restructure. We have to change and do things differently. He hasn't said anything new. It is only gigantic because it's coming from a man of the caliber of a governor. We've said it repeatedly here. The only way for us now is to change course. Whether you call it restructuring, whether you call it rearrangement, whether you call it reorganize, whatever you call it, we need to change course. Political course, economic course, leadership course, security course, everything that borders on our life need to change. To dwell on the oil that he mentioned, using the example of Shell and Chevron, I think in the next 4 to 5 years, the cars we drive, I don't think we'll be using oil anymore. Oil will now be confined to moving turbines and working heavy machineries. And by then, we have nowhere to go to because it will be useless in our hands. So we need to start rethinking. The governor has just used his platform to re-echo it again. We are absolutely in trouble. We are in trouble for our president to be in another man's country seeking health. What else do you want? Health-wise, we are in trouble. Security-wise, we are in trouble. Economically, we are in trouble. Productivity, we are in trouble. The time is now for a change. And change we must. If not, it will be blink.
That's why, Bones. It's time for change, and change we must.
Yeah,
That's
thank you, Austin. Thank you, Austin, for what you have said. Like you said, he's a state governor, and when you are in certain position of authority, your words have to be carefully measured. I think the governor went very far in his analysis. Kudos to him. The country has to be restructured. Whether we are going to call it devolution of powers, whether we are going to call it fiscal federalism, whether we are going to call it true federalism, Nigeria as it is now is not working. I did on my Twitter page yesterday, I wrote something. But I realized an article and I wrote it in 5 parts. And the last part 5 of that thing, I said, if we like in Nigeria, let us elect Angel Gabriel and Angel Michael from heaven. By 2025, my brother, what we are discussing now, this lamentation, we will be lamenting. It is not going to work. It is not going to work. So you can't have a federal system and then operate it in a unitary way. 36 state governors just go to Abuja to meet the fiscal mobilization committee and just take money. People are now lazy. There is no innovation. There is no creativity. When we were growing up, Austin, Lamte, what we were told, they said, necessity is the mother of invention. Is that not what we were told?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When there is no necessity, people don't invent. Look, the whole of Europe from 2025, most of the countries in Europe, they will be using electric cars. Cars will not be using petrol. So countries like Nigeria, what are we going to do? So our people are not, these are some of the things that Obaseki is talking about. Because we have a lot of people who are governors, who are ministers in Nigeria, they don't know anything. Even if they know, but because of their greed and selfishness, they just look maroon. So the governor has just, look, if it was other countries, there will be discussions will begin now on what Obaseki said this week. People will they'll pick it up and it becomes a topic for fiscal and policy development. But knowing Nigeria, people are just talking, oh, maybe he wants to be president, he wants to shine and all the rest. Look, Nigeria is just a monolithic economy. Only crude oil, everybody just put eye there. So nothing is working. So we need to restructure. If we restructure now, and the federated unit are looking after these things, people will wake up. This laziness we have in Nigeria will stop. And all this clamor for, I want to be president, I want to be that, they will all stop. Look, politics is a local thing. Economy is a local thing. I've always said that. So That is where we need to go. And I believe that is exactly the point the governor was making in his speech.
Okay, Austin Remiran, the governor talked about a lot about the federal government. He just didn't mention the word restructuring, but everything was referring to bordered on restructuring the country, economically, socially, and otherwise. Now, the question I want to ask you is this. Apart from the issue of restructuring or the way Nigeria is being run currently, there is this culture we have, the culture of, you take $1 billion contract, you don't execute the contract, you go with the money. Does it mean that when we have restructuring, there won't be such kind of embezzlement anymore, even if we restructure? Does it mean that embezzlement is not possible even when you restructure?
Thank you very much. Before I answer that question, I just want to let our viewers know that I have been searching for the last 46 years to look for the meaning of corruption in our native dialect. Corruption is not in our dictionary. There is no word for corruption in Edo.
And I think he did.
I think corruption is synonymous to what you call embezzlement. Just before I come to your question,
that in Edo language, that's Ogberu.
Thank you. What is killing us now is that we have taken embezzlement plus corruption to another level.
Okay.
And it is now gone past embezzlement to become wickedness. The question you ask is, no government can totally bring embezzlement to ground zero, but we can reduce it to some maximum level, because those that want to embezzle, they have technicalities. But our system has not created any check and balance. And there is nothing that they owe to the people. That's why they are able to embezzle and embezzle in full. I give you an example. You take a contract for 1 billion to do a road.
Yeah.
The road you will not do, the money you will collect in full. You do the road, it becomes substandard. 2 years later, another government will come, or that same government, to re-award it again.
No, we have a case like that now. The issue of $1 billion, this will be naira, $1 billion for arms given to the previous security chiefs. Okay, the current ones raised alarm. They were immediately shut down. Nobody is talking about it anymore. $1 billion nowhere to be found. On the flip side, the PDP is asking the president, Muhammadu Buhari, to account for 25 trillion naira missing. And Muhammadu Buhari is the one who has just sat in charge of NNPC and the crude oil matter. That 25 trillion naira cannot be accounted for. And nobody's talking about it. So, the question I'm asking is that even when we restructure, are we not going to have issues like in Delta State? What's his name? Ibori is being, over 100 million pounds, which is about 64 billion naira, is what Nigeria is fighting right now to return back. That's a state government. If we had restructured, that is probably going to be a lot more than that, because Delta State would have been a lot more. In fact, they would have been a lot richer than that. Would have been exposed to a lot of money. Probably Bori would have been made to be returning $1 billion now. So the question I'm asking is that we have been clamoring for restructuring, which is a good one. There's no doubt about it. Are we saying when we restructure, embezzlement will no longer be there? Because that's a major problem.
No. Even if we restructure, we cannot totally rule out embezzlement, but we would have brought it down to the barest minimum, so much so that it will not affect our quality and our growth.
How do we do that?
Because, like Tony said, if we do true federalism, the government will be brought a bit closer home. So, take Edo State, for example, or take my local government, O1 East. If the money is given to me and I did not do that road, my fellow people from O1 will know You understand that I was the one that was giving that contract that did not do it. So it is a lot easier for them to come to me, for my people to cry to me and bring me down. So that's what true federalism will give us. And of course, when we restructure,
Dr. Agbons, do you agree with this line of discussion? Because at the end of the day, we have local government chairmen. In fact, right now, they just dissolved Edo State local government chairman. No, I mean, the governor asked them to submit their account of steel worship and all of that. We cannot even vote for 2 or 3 that can return. And yet, these are people who are closer to the people. If we restructure, if they are getting 100 million now, they may be exposed to 2 billion after restructuring. So, are we saying that as a nature of corruption that we have now imbibed so strongly? I'm glad you use the word, we take them to another level. Are we saying that restructuring will take that away? Dr. Agbons, taking it from
I think the premise that Austin have established is very intelligent and spot on. Yes, restructuring is not going to completely eradicate embezzlement and all that, but it will bring governance closer to the people, and there will be more accountability. So that is the point. Because you see, at the moment, what we just have is that people, even state governors, they hide under the federal government to misbehave. So restructuring is going to expose everybody. So you will be there will be nothing, there will be no cutting to hide anybody. The thing. We in fact, some of us are quite young. If you speak to elderly men at the time after Nigeria got independence, there was a semblance of that. So if we go back to that system, there will be checks and balance. Because now everybody is just we all have a way now of blaming the federal government for everything. So it will reduce, because Lante, you have always said this, top bottom, bottom top. So it will now be bottom top, because this top bottom we are currently doing, especially in this current democracy we have, it is a huge failure. And then another thing we will also do, we have to reduce the cost of governance. Look, somebody sent me a poster this week, and he said that for newspaper allowance, the federal legislators, they get about, I think, 1.2 million or so.
1.2 million.
1.2 million. And doctors are collecting 5,000 naira as hazard allowance. Doctors who are taking risks. So when you look at all this imbalance in our society, so these are some of the things that cause all this corruption. And then when you restructure, for instance, Edo State, or even Delta State, they can be paying their workers maybe 50,000 naira a month. Maybe, I'm just giving an example. Maybe a state like Osun, they can be paying their workers 35,000 a month. So everybody will be doing his own thing according to his own power. Those are the things that a true federal system gives to you. So you do things according to your strength.
Thank you very much. Look, it's important we discuss these things, because the reason why we're discussing it is because a lot of people talk about restructuring. We need to understand some of those things that restructuring has the capacity to bring to us. It means that it gives us big opportunity to be part of how we are being governed. Because right now, many of us feel very detached from the federal government. But if we had restructured, I am sure that in my local government, I will have a voice there. I don't have a voice right now in the Buhari government. You understand what I'm saying? Apart from the nursery they make on my own platform for here, and you understand, and all of that. But if it's a Edo State, we're in charge of our own economy, we are in charge of everything about Edo State. Okay, the average Edo man, we have a say. And by the time we have a say, we would have improved the process, the prospect of having a better, governance by way of accountability and every other thing as it were. So that is for restructuring. The governor said 50 to 60 billion naira was printed to make up for states take home and all of that. The question I want to ask is this. Why the governor has expressed fears and concern over what we may call an impending doom, okay, from the federal government of Nigeria because of the way things are being managed and all of that. I want to find out from you guys. Is it not possible for Edo State to parachute itself out of whatever economic quagmire the Nigerian state is experiencing? To establish that, I want to ask, if Edo State was an independent country of itself, will it not succeed? Pharmacist Remira.
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. I think if Edo State was an independent country in itself, it will certainly succeed. Because we have abundant natural resources that can give us a ray of hope. We are also the educational part of the country. Education in itself generates wealth. So we will succeed. And to tell you what Tony said, once we have true federalism, we will now begin to think. So to answer your question squarely, we will succeed. We are in the rainforest. We have oil palm. We have everything to succeed. We have agriculture.
Sir. Okay, having established that, okay, as a rejoinder, having established that, now should we be worried that Nigeria is crumbling if we can deploy the things we have, okay, that will make us succeed independently as a nation, okay? If we can deploy that and begin to succeed, irrespective of having, Nigeria or whatever Nigeria is doing, is it not possible for us to begin to look at those things that would have made us succeed independently, and begin to detach ourselves from over-dependence on allocation, derivation, and all those things, and let those ones be extra?
It is possible, my brother Lamte, but that is where I want to take you and our viewers again while we keep hammering on restructuring. If you remember, the 1999 Constitution has clamped the wings of all ambitious states, apart from IGRO. Some of those things that you can do are already in the federal government exclusive list. Electricity, power, some form of agriculture is in the exclusive list. That is why the IGRO that other states can generate are things like maybe investment in transportation, businesses, and all that. So the 1999 Constitution has clamped the hands of many states that some of the important things that will catapult us are tied in the exclusive list of the federal government. So when we restructure and we become unbundled, every state will perform to their greatest and highest level. So we can do some things now, but not everything. That's why restructuring, to me, is absolutely key.
Beautiful. We can do some things now. Dr. Agbons, is it not expedient for us to start doing some things now? I tell you this, for instance. Previously, I used to, well, we still do it every once in a while. We just, maybe when I go to Nigeria, or we just ask the family to package some things, Gary and all those things. They bring it for us and all of that. Bros, do you know now as I speak with you, okay, since the last 1 month, since the last 2 months, I order Gary from Amazon. 10 pound Gary will last you more than, as a family, it may last you more than 2 months. 10 pound Gary from Amazon. Gary is not being produced by the British people. It's coming from Africa. A month ago, I went somewhere, to go and buy, what's it called, a carton of yam. And I found out from them, the yam was coming from Ghana. I am not sure it was the federal government of Ghana that produced or marketed the yam. But arrangement was already in place for everyday farmers to be able to have, leverage to export their product beyond the shores of their country, thereby creating employment and, of course, increasing, productivity as far as that is concerned. Now, we have Gary in abundance, for instance, which is not in the exclusive list. Farming, so can we really deal with those things that are in the concurrent list just now and begin to use these things, to earn foreign exchange for the Nigerian state. Particularly now that the British government, having left Brexit, they are now beginning to, reach different parts with different countries of the world freely. Dr. Agbons,
Yeah.
is that not a leeway for us now, even within this small window, for us to start succeeding beyond imagination as a state independent of Nigeria?
Yeah, you are very correct, Comrade Lante. But what you have said now is where people are thinking, where people are creative, and where people are innovative. But because of our reliance on this monolithic economy, nobody is thinking. Nobody is thinking. Look, Austin already said it. We have some of the best land. And I think for a state like Edo, for me, we can just be doing our own things. Let our people, because government is to produce an enabling environment. Once that is there, so people can do any economic activity that they want to do, and then in the overall, like even the governor was saying, it will not help society. They will even be paying taxes. So, but in Nigeria, everywhere, and those states inclusive, everybody is lazy. Everybody. Nobody wants to do anything agriculture. Nobody wants to be. So people just, we all give complaint. Yeah, we know that there is security problems and all that. Some of these security problems are also as a result of poverty, lack of opportunities. So if you look at this whole thing, it's a cycle. So once you don't deal with the focal point of a cycle, then it begins to spread out to other things and other challenges. So that is where this restructuring thing needs to come about. Look, we have a generation in Nigeria now who all they know is just government will sell oil and money will come. And many people think that Nigeria is actually a very rich country. Truth of the matter is this: I have sat with economists because of the kind of work I do. Nigeria, I'm a guy on stick for this. Nigeria is not a rich country. The budget of Johannesburg is bigger than that of Nigeria. Go and check. So we are just a people who are living in a cocoon. We are in one kind of funny bubble. The whole world is just moving outside. You are mentioning Ghana now. Look at what countries like Rwanda they are doing, Botswana, even Tanzania that we talked about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So these people are innovating. People are using IT for a lot of things. So what are we talking about? So these are some of the things that when a restructured federating unit, even most of these people in the north who are against restructuring because they are looking at oil, they don't even know that they are sitting on gold mine. They have land, they can do agriculture. They look, a country like Holland, for instance, beautiful country. What is their mainstay? It's agriculture. They are number one in dairy products. That is all they do. Vegetables that they send to all parts of the world. Switzerland, they refine cocoa to chocolates. So I can go on and on and on. So we need to define these things, and it will not happen if our country is not restructured, because this oil has become a cost for us.
Thank you very much. So, viewers, the reason why we are looking at all these issues, apart from us trying to sensitize ourselves, we're actually sending a direct message to the government of Edo State and, of course, to other governments of Nigeria to begin to look inwards. Because at the end of the day, it's not everything so far that is in the exclusive legislative list. We still have those things. Agriculture is one of them that is in the concurrent list, which means that, I was proud when I saw that the yam I ate is from Ghana. I'm hoping to start eating the yam from Nigeria, and I'm glad too that the government of Edo State, has signed, a huge pact with certain, companies to, bring huge investments. As a matter of fact, over 100 billion naira investment into Edo State as far as agriculture is concerned. And we are hoping that with this start yielding results, it will be a foreign exchange earner for Edo State. I believe very strongly that agriculture can actually be, a major mainstay for us. Not this kind of subsistence farming we are doing right now. with government encouragement. And I know the governor did talk about it once, that there is some loan facility in place that government can help, farmers to assess, okay, that can improve productivity and make Edo State a better place. I think that we can begin to look into some of these things. There are a lot of things we can do in the states that can make our state, they can become very serious foreign exchange earner for the state in itself and all of that. And at the end of the day, any major thing that becomes a foreign exchange earner independent to Edo State definitely is something that's going to employ so many people. And of course, attached to the direct employment will be so many other indirect, opportunities that will, of course, better the lives of the people. So I want to hope, that the government of Edo State and those who are going to be lucky to be part of governance, particularly the Ministry of Agriculture and all of that, can begin to look at how to open up the system a bit more, and of course, see how we can open our economy. And we should not start talking about, with or without restructuring, start talking about the Edo economy. The Edo economy. You understand what I'm saying? This is important, this is necessary, and hopefully if we get it right, other states can begin to benefit from that. But that is not to say, as urgently as possible, Nigeria needs to restructure. But if we have certain structure in place already, and Nigeria now restructures, it will be to our advantage. So I think that, government should now look inwards and see how Edo people can be galvanized. For our people who are looking at Yahoo Plus, Yahoo, this, that, and all of those things, there is no way those things, we talk about these things regularly, there is no way they are going to better our economy. We must subject ourselves, to what is orderly, to what is lawful, to what will improve our value system as a people, and of course, make our place a better place. We need to improve our place. Improving Edo and building Edo cannot be on the account of Governor Obaseki alone. We must all play our roles in it. Those who want to invest, those who want to be part of this and that, let us do it rightly. And hopefully, we'll press government to do the needful. Give us better security, create better economic environment, and let Edo strive. And let investors come to Edo State, and of course, build Edo State for all Edo people. Having said that, the Comrade Friends, we want to shift attention away from the government of Edo State. Now we are going to Nigeria. Buhari, we know, is in London on medical vacation. I want to play this footage. Well, Buhari left on a day, and the next day, the resident doctors in Nigeria went on strike. Okay? And Nigerians, there's been this uproar. Nigerians are unhappy, majorly. People are complaining. Some Nigerians have been at the Abuja house in London. Very funny. Abuja now in London, in no man's land. Okay? Where it is believed the president is residing presently, leaving Nigeria to flow on our own, as it were. And they've been there protesting. A few days ago, some other group of Nigerians came to protest in favor and in support of Buhari and all of that. And yesterday, or day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, the two groups clashed. The one that is saying Buhari must go home and fix Nigeria, and the ones that are saying Buhari must stay in the UK and not care about Nigeria. They clashed. And, well, before we go on, let me play that excerpt so that we understand exactly what we are talking about, and we take the matter from there.
Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights.
Thank you,
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. Push! The power of the people. Push! Push!
Higher protesters.
Push!
Push!
Shame!
The guys on the opposite side, if you are watching, they are the ones protesting in favor of Buhari. While the ones on this side, they are the ones protesting against Buhari. And the British police, they are in the middle. We're going to see how we take the embarrass ourselves. Comrade Friends, I hope you are watching. A national disgrace. Let's keep watching.
And you're here for Buhari. Shame. Nigerians are dying. Shame. The killers are lucky. Shame. The killers are lucky. Shame. The killers are lucky. Shame. Shame. Shame of your family. Shame. Shame of your family. Shame. UK is a great country. Shame. And you're enjoying. Shame. And people are dying. Shame. And your people are dying. Shame. And don't cover your faces. Shame. Don't cover your faces. Shame. I am a Biafran. Shame. I'm not afraid of anyone. Shame. My face is on camera. Shame. My face is on camera. Shame. Shame. I said shame. Nigerians are dying. Shame. I am here for 20 pounds. Shame. Shame. The most corrupt country. Shame. Push. I said push. Push. Don't mind their numbers. Don't mind their numbers. Foolishness are no number. Yes. Foolishness are no number. Yes. Foolishness are no number. Yes. Don't mind their numbers. Yes. Push. Nigerians are dying. Buhari is here now. So take medical attention. No hospital for Nigeria. No hospital in Nigeria. UK is a great country. That's why they come here now. So take medical attention. Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not ashamed of yourself? Ashamed of your family. Ashamed of your family. Ashamed of your don't. Shame. Ashamed of your family. Shame. Don't go. Hold your money's way. Don't go. Your family. Ashamed of your family. Come
Dr. Agbons, this
Yes.
I don't know what's your appraisal. I have never seen a thing like this before in my life. That nationals of the same country in another man's land, they start fighting like this. Dr. Agbons, I'm short of
Yeah,
words.
my brothers, Lamptey and Austin. This is a show of shame. It's appalling and it is disgraceful. I don't want to use other adjectives.
In another man's land.
In another man's land, and like you said, you can see the British police at the middle there.
In the middle.
This one is it's a huge shame. And where is all this coming from? A president of a sovereign nation is unable to do his health checkup, medical checkup. He's unable to do it in his own land. He's unable to. It is a shame. And for those who are supporting the president for coming to the UK for medical check, they should be ashamed of themselves. I live in the UK and I'm aware of text messages going around. People being induced with as little as 75 pounds. I don't know if Austin can help us with calculator. 75 pounds and convert it to Naira. So how can people be that cheap? How can people be that callous about the happiness of the majority? Because President Muhammadu Buhari, when he was campaigning, some of the things that he used to even sell himself was that this foreign medical trips abroad is going to cancel it. It needs to stop. Government officials will have to travel using normal airlines. He presented with like somebody with Spartan discipline. So sticking on this head thing, it is a shame and shame on the people supporting the president coming to the UK for medical checkup. And for it to have happened on the eve of the strike by doctors in Nigeria makes it all the more worse. So these people who came to support the president for coming here for medical checkup, they are satanic and they belong to the clan of the demons. I'm getting really annoyed now, so I'm going to stop there.
Iramira, are
My
you
brother
proud to be a Nigerian? Are you proud to be a Nigerian?
I am, but on this occasion and with what is happening, I am deeply ashamed. Even the book of Lamentations will not even agree with this. We have become shameful. We have become so low that we have lost integrity. Tony, you asked me, that 75 pounds will come to between 45 and 50,000 naira, depending on the exchange rate.
John Edozele on Facebook just said it is 40,000 naira.
Oh, 40,000, depending on the exchange rate. So it is shameful. And my president has not only left Nigeria, he has come to even create another investment in the UK. Those police that you see there will get extra payment in pounds for this that they've done. This is how foolish our country has been, that you now come to live in another man's country and empower them. We talked about this last week and we both expressed our dismay. What did the presidency do? They even responded to tell us that it is right, that the president has every right to go on medical vacation, as if they are not blind, deaf, and don't listen at all. You know, in this program, Tony, in case you have forgotten, you once argued that it is not because of poverty that makes us to be foolish. In case you have forgotten, you said it when we were talking about Nigerians collecting money. And that statement that you made a few weeks ago has come to be true. Are you telling me that these Nigerians in the UK don't have money to feed? Are you telling me that 75 naira a pound is now their problems? Let me believe, as some of my friends have argued, that they are not Nigerians. Maybe they are people from West Africa countries that were just arranged to collect that money. Let me believe that is true. Because they've not done any service to Buhari. They were so much in number, they could not even shout. Which means their coming out was not generic. It was induced. After this program, I'm going to try to look for the head of APC in the UK, because I hear he is the one that is sharing the money. We need to look for that man and put him in big trouble in this country. I don't know its exact name. My friend was telling me we need to dig deep. This issue of division, even in another man's land, is appalling. If you want to protest in support of Buhari, you don't need to take any money. You have every right to if you want to. If you consider it worthy, why are you being induced? And I would have also loved a situation where those Nigerians collected the money, disgraced those that gave them the money, and joined the successful bandwagon. They won't do them anything. We have become a laughing stock. So I will go tomorrow to the office only to be told by my foreign counterparts, what happened in Kensington? You guys were just fooling yourself. We've come that low. In Aso Rock, there is 26 million attached to our hospital. Yet we cannot move the best of medical personnel to come to Aso Rock and treat our president. When are we going to wake up from this dilemma? It is a shame. There is nothing to add rather than just to feel a bit sober. I can read your mind, Lamte. It's a shame, my brother. I told us last week, it's like you are coming home and you see your sister naked. All you have to do is to get a rapper to cover him. We just need to cover this country because we are dancing naked. It's a shame. Real shame.
Dr. Agbons.
I just want to quickly add, so that our viewers can know. In the last 6 years, the federal government has spent about 6.4 billion naira on Aso Villa Clinic. That is in the last 6 years. That is what the federal government has spent, on that. I'm reading this. This information is coming from datafight.com. They look at data and some other stuff. So if you break that down, every year we can say on an average of about maybe 1.1 billion, in Aso Rock Clinic, and yet the president cannot even do. They said routine medical checkup. It is a slap on our collective nationhood. It is, an integrity. It's a slap. It's shameful. It's shameful. And I want to join Austin. Let us believe that they went to hire some other West Africans, East Africans. They cannot hire North Africans because of the color of their skin. So let us just believe, because if these people that were there, they are Nigerians, then it is and this is exactly what even happened during the NSAS protest. We are our own enemies. Lamte, I saw you did a program during the week on that message by one bishop from Ghana. We are our own enemies. We the people. Because people cannot stand up for the truth. People are so cheap. People want to eat their seed, and yet they want to harvest. Can't you just take the pain? What is 75 pounds? And like us instead, these are even people who are even living in the UK. What will 75 pounds do for you, which is 40,000 naira? Excuse me? This is so shameful.
Peter Idausa on Facebook says Aso Rock Clinic average budget is 4 billion naira every year.
Okay,
Sort
civil
of,
4 billion.
yeah.
So you see figures are coming out, and yet the president cannot have his medical checkup there. And it's not just the president alone, although he's the arrow figure. All of our other, even the wife was in Dubai for checkup recently as well. So, and they just take the Nigerian people for a ride. And our people, the people of Nigeria, when you talk to them, they will either look at it from political party angle, they will look at it from a religious angle, they will look at my thief better pass your thief angle. What kind of people? So when I was just playing that Ghanaian bishop message of we are our own enemy, I related it to Nigeria. We are our own enemy. I'm sure these policemen, these British police, they will be like, what sort of people are this? That will be what will be in their mind. It is shameful, my brother Lamte.
Austin Emira, in the light of this, what do we do?
Well, there is nothing we can do other than continue to talk about it. I salute the courage of those Nigerians that regularly go there to make protests. May they continue to do that so long as they have the time and the resources until the president goes. We have only one.
Just as you are continuing, this is the face of the guy, this guy with white hair is the face of the guy that they said is the anchor person that is helping them to negotiate and pay these guys.
We will look for him.
Different figures have been flying around. 75 pounds, 20 pounds, like that. So I'm sure they collected people, and they price them differently depending on how much they're able to bargain with each person.
Yeah. Probably many of our guys that don't have papers might fall for this. And just see it as a way.
No
matter the reasons, because they are suffering here with no paper because our country is in a bad shape. If our country was good, what will you be doing here? So they really don't have any reason, my brother. They really don't have any reason. And now we are already backward. They will just look at us more. The British police now, they will collect more money now per hour on hazard. They will make some report now and collect more money. The government will pay them more money because they will tell you that they had lots of issues there trying to separate Nigerians. And we are not quarreling among ourselves.
Peter, it also on Facebook says the contract was for £75. 75 pounds. But the guys who collected the contract paid these guys 30 pounds to come to the street.
They will still have to make their own money now. After all, it's not accounted for. You see? And similarly, Lamte, why this is happening, the president's wife is launching a book, and all the other funny politicians are there, grazing occasion. Sometimes I don't understand.
Tinubu donated 20 million naira for the book when president's wife not right. It was even written for her by...
Can you imagine?
By one
I was also
aides.
looking at a clip. I don't know how old this clip was, where Tinubu was standing. To me, it looked even very sick.
He's frail.
The country should not make another mistake to bring another one. Maybe
They
this
are
time now
they are ready
to
to.
US.
They are ready to.
It is just shameful. It is absolutely shameful, my brother. We lack of words. I wouldn't have believed that this will happen in England.
Dr. Agbons, do we not have more than enough reason to ask Buhari to leave? Just live in peace, irrespective.
I think Dr.
Can you imagine that any nation will bring this kind of embarrassment to its own people?
This is a solution, I think, for the president. Health-wise, it doesn't look fit to me, and I say this as a Nigerian, born and bred. Even though I have dual nationality, but I say this as a Nigerian blood flowing inside me. The president, health-wise, is not there at all. Dr. Ezekwesili, somebody all Nigerians know, she had requested last year that an independent medical team take a look at the president. There is more to all this that many of us may not know. And this is where I will call on all those who actually are always in contact with the president, the governors, the ministers, the vice president, because me and you, Lamptey, we don't see this man one-on-one. So people that see him one-on-one should know the true state of his health. If this man is not in the frame of health to lead the nation, then let somebody else continue. So that is the problem. So those who make contact with him, they should be able to know, because if you are with somebody that is sick, either bodily or mentally.
Dr. Agbon,
yeah.
should we see to know? This man has been there for 6 years.
No, yeah.
What do we now need to see? We can't make up our mind to know that this man is not fit.
No, like what Tony is saying.
We have the images and videos of this man. We see images and videos. Look, let me tell you, some people have even said, I was reading this past week, that the reason why the president even traveled quickly for this medical checkup is so that he will not be present during the launch of his wife's book. Because he needed to be there, and he needed to, you understand? So it was also part of it to keep him away from. Look, when we've had president in this country, Olusegun Obasanjo, Yaradua, even though he was not feeling well as well, and Goodluck Jonathan, we used to have what we call monthly presidential media chats. Have we forgotten? But this president doesn't do it. We used to have president that visit states. He go for 3 days.
One of his stooges, one of his shoe shiners, Femi Adesina, came out to say that it is a matter of style, and that the president it is his own style not to be addressing Nigerians. So it's a matter of style. That's what they came to tell us. For
me, I look at the president, and I've not examined him, but you will look at him and then look at his body, demeanor and everything, and you will know that health-wise there are some challenges. So all these our governors, our ministers, again I will say it, and the vice president who have day-to-day contact with him, they should know his present state of mind and capacity, and then help the nation. Because as it is, look at the president even traveling. Power was not transmitted to the vice president. God forbid something happens. God forbid something happens. Because we cannot wish a human being something. So I don't want to use some language. So God forbid something happens. Power has not been transmitted to the vice president.
Brother, we can wish. If we read those like this, we can wish.
But why we are blaming the president who is allegedly sick? Is the vice president also allegedly sick? Can he not resign?
No, in Nigerians,
why would he resign? What is the brain?
And he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to resign.
He doesn't need to resign. Who is going to occupy there?
He doesn't need to resign.
Let me tell you why I think he should resign. Comrade Lamptey asked a question about Buhari. I think 3 things can happen. 1, Buhari can resign on his own. It is now clear to me and you that he's not going to do that. The second other aspect will be the combined House of Rep and House of Senate, to stand up for the common man and initiate that resignation. That is the second one. The third one that should provoke something in Nigeria will be the person that is close to this man most is Osibanjo, who happens to be the vice president. If indeed the president is not well, and he as a pastor and a vice president is
remove the pastor for inside.
He's doing a disservice to Nigeria. So if he then comes out to resign, he will be resigning with reasons, and that will open the worm for us to set Nigeria straight. That is why,
this is where the problem is. We have enough worms already. Enough worm. Look at what's it called? Biafra agitation. That's a serious worm. Look at Oduduwa this thing. It's a serious worm. Missing $1 billion for arms. Serious worm. Boko Haram killing everybody. Serious worm. Herdsmen and all their exploits and all the wickedness they perpetrate on everybody. Serious one. If Osinbajo resign, he go just resign on the nothing they happen for that country. As we
No,
just
but no, my brother Lamte.
we even end SARS. They kill us join. Nothing happen in this same country.
Yes, I think bearing the first two suggestions I make, Osinbajo has the key. If he resigns, it's going to open up lots of
No. Austin, can I come in here? That one is not. I don't think that is the way forward at all. He number one, politicians in Nigeria, since I've been growing up,
don't resign.
They don't resign. So that one is not. That is why when I see people protesting, somebody should resign, I just laugh. Don't even go there. They don't resign. All you need to do, like I said, it's not just even Osinbajo alone, even the governors, the ministers. If they really want to save this nation, if we want to have a nation to call our own tomorrow, of our children, they just need to tell us the truth about the health status of the president. If the president doesn't have the capacity to continue to lead, look, the office of president for me is an energetic one. So if somebody is not feeling well and it's not okay to lead, then they should speak. Do we even know if the president has the capacity to even resign himself? Do we know? So those are some of the questions. So it's those in that corridor of power who are better placed to rescue this country. Because, like Lante just enumerated now, there is ethnic and tribal agitation, regional agitation, insurgency, Boko Haram, banditry, herdsmen, kidnapping, all sorts of criminalities. And there seem to be no government at all. Nobody is calling the shot. Everybody in government, they are just doing their own, trying to steal as much as they can steal. That is what I just see that is happening. So
Tony,
something has to happen.
What do we do?
That is why we are calling on these people. Look, let me tell you, in the days of Yaradua, were we not in Nigeria when late Dr. Mrs. Akunyuli, she said she cannot lie anymore. Have we forgotten? So we need another person to do that kind of thing now. That woman, she said she's tired of lying. God bless her soul. So we need something like that.
To be honest, if you ask me,
I still think strongly that Osinbajo has the key, and his resignation will set us in the right path. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Where the president and House of Rep has failed us.
You have the right to that opinion. The thing is, the people who are supposed to save us, okay, they are even a bigger problem. We have to save ourselves. Just look at this arrangement now. People are protesting to say president should go home. He has no reason, he has no business being in the UK. At the same time, they are sponsoring a counter-protest. They'll go and show to the world that Nigerians support of Buhari being in London. That's the purpose. You know, they're already saying that people are not protesting against the president and all of that. They have a way of setting us against ourselves. It's not just because of this. We had the NSAS protest, and we had some people of the Northern Youth Forum supporting, you know, the government against the NSAS protest. There were clashes between the ordinary Nigerians. So at the end of the day, somehow they have a way of infiltrating the masses to use the masses against the masses. As we are speaking right now, there are people who are insulting us seriously and supporting Buhari. Why are we saying anything against Buhari? That Buhari is the best that ever happened to this country. The real truth is this: the people who can save Nigeria from the hands of evil Nigerians are Nigerians. And that means that the what's it called, Biafra agitation need to be collapsed into the Oduduwa agitation, and all agitations that are true need to come together to start a proper grassroots movement to take back this country. The country is in danger. Apart from the economic issues that the governor mentioned, the danger this country is faced, and the truth of the matter is that The people who are killing Nigerians, okay, there are just a few thousand of them cutting across different parts of the country. And they are majorly in leadership. Majorly. They conspire to, I mean, before these guys came out to come out, it was a strategy. They already saw that the Nigerians have come out to say Buhari must go back to Nigeria. They now want to arrange with them. Why didn't these Nigerians they are arranging will say, no, I cannot do that?
Or collect the money and don't come out, or come out
Or
and go
collect the money
them.
and don't come out, as we
or
did in
come
Edo
out
State.
and go against them.
Why can't they do that? But tomorrow, even as we speak now, people will listen to us. Tomorrow, they will collect that 30 or 40 pound or 50 pound and go and embarrass themselves there. Now, I am ashamed. When I saw this, to be honest with you, for one of those rare times in my life, I felt ashamed of being called a Nigerian. Now, when you look at this matter right now, those standing to defend Nigeria on one side, those standing to defend Buhari on one side, the people in the middle are the British or the police. That for me is very symbolic. Right from the days of colonialism, okay, it has always been like that. They've always been between us. After colonizing Nigeria, they said they want to give us independence. They used us against us. They've been behind sponsoring all kind of coup to ensure that they keep the Fulanis in power, so that the ordinary people will keep on fighting themselves. This is exactly what is replicated here now. They are smiling, and Nigerians are fighting themselves in another man's land. I don't know whether you guys understand the symbolism in this matter, the sadness in this matter. The Benin man says, the thief is not as ashamed as his own brother or relation or friend. I am ashamed. I am ashamed of myself as a Nigerian. Looking at this. Looking at this. These policemen, they will take all the images, they have body cams, they have everything. They will go and analyze them, play them even before their government. All these tapes, they will analyze it. Who are they analyzing? They are analyzing Nigeria. Who is embarrassing us? Buhari. I don't know why the National Assembly cannot put an impeachment motion in place now to get this man out. Buhari has brought enough shame and embarrassment on all of us Nigerians. For many of us, we don't understand the implication of all of this. But for every of this kind of shameful matter, there's a reduction in our value wherever we are all over the world. And it is worse to state that the person who is bringing us this shame is present in the presence of Nigeria. Come on. Come on. Nobody does this. Just look at Nigerians in another man's land. Look at. They are fighting now, not because they are fighting with themselves for personal issues. They are fighting each other because of a failed leader, a failed president. Last word, my guys. Last word. Make we close.
Yeah. For me, last word. I just want to again thank all our viewers. I thank all those who have been making contributions both on our YouTube page and on Facebook live. Thank you. You are the reason why we are here. And together, we are going to continue the conversation. I was happy this week. I saw one of the leading pastors in Nigeria, Pastor Itwa Igodalo. He was on one of the stations, I think, Arise News. He made a passionate and compassionate speech as well. And Pastor Tunde Bakare did the same. A lot of Nigerians are really speaking up, and this is what we want. Let's keep talking, and then let's keep together, because like Lante has said, we are the ones, we the people are the ones that can rescue our nation, Nigeria, from the cliffhanger that it is now. So, my people, again, thank you all so much for joining us. Do have a splendid new week. God bless you all.
Pharmacist.
Thank you so much, my people. Nothing to add, but just to say thank you for joining us. It's been our Sunday tonic. May God bless you all richly and have a very fantastic week.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. On that note, Edo people and Nigerians, I want to express gratitude to you all. The end part of this broadcast has broken me a little. I don't feel very strongly motivated, because there's a grave danger right now that is just enveloping us. And somehow it's so painful that as a people, we are looking so helpless, even though help is before us. It's just for us to galvanize ourselves and reach out and, of course, help ourselves to set our nation aright. We look so helpless, and yet a lot of things are happening. Too many heinous, I call them crimes, as a matter of fact, happening to us right now, endangering our Nigerianness and all of that. And all we have been asking, that nobody is willing to listen to us for, is that we should restructure this country. We should have that national discourse to reset the compass of the country in a way that, the component parts of the state will, take over, their economy, take over their security, put their destinies in their hands, and determine how they live. Unless and until we do that, there can never be a proper Nigeria. And that is the truth of the matter. This is the bane of the country. It is the reason why we're having agitations upon agitations. But to crown this all, we have a president who is inept, a president who, according to sources, has dementia. He's very sick. I work in the hospital. I work in in mental health department. As a matter of fact, I work with people with mental health issues, dementia being a major part of it, and all of that. Anybody who's got dementia, at whatever level the dementia is, there is no way that person, can be said to have capacity, as it were, and all of that. Particularly talking of, leadership capacity, not just leadership, but leadership, in the class of a president of a country. Anyone who has anything near that shouldn't be around that level. And so, please, let's share the broadcast if we could. Let's reach out. Let's find ways to talk to those in authority, the legislators and all of that. They need to do the needful. We need to show Buhari out of the office and let's get somebody who's more competent to lead this Nigeria further. We need restructuring. We need to ensure that we bring the country back on track. And for the Nigerians who are going about fooling themselves for stipends and all of that, we want to encourage you. That is not the way to go. But at the end of the day, the embarrassment you guys jointly, between you guys and the federal government of Nigeria, bring on Nigerians is so that it's unacceptable. It's shameful. It's repugnant. It's unacceptable. And we hope that you guys are better guided and not accept stipends to go and be embarrassing yourselves in the streets of another man's land. But meanwhile, kudos to all those gallant comrades and soldiers, who believe strongly still that this Nigeria can be salvaged, and who came out and they have been coming out to protest and ask the president to go back to his country. This is a noble call, a noble request. Go to your country and fix the infrastructures of the country. That's a noble request. It does not call for any counter protests. It doesn't. But like one of our comrades said, the conversation is going to continue. It's open-ended. Until Nigeria becomes a better place for all of us, we are not going to rest. And for those who have joined us, I want to express deep appreciation. And for those who contributed on Facebook, during the month, I see you. Thank you. Etiensa Evidence, I see you. All you guys are wonderful. You guys make us come here regularly. Opura Rinze, Etiensa Evidence Kingsley, Boegbe Arawa Igebo, thank you so very much. God bless you. Peter Dausa, You made a lot of contributions. Yes, thank you so very much. Very constructive ones too. We appreciate you, Gabriel IK. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you, Anthony. Obeni Mose, thank you very much. Wisconsin Mark, thank you. Peter Idaosa, yes, I mentioned Peter Idaosa previously, and so many of you guys who came out to support us, and you're always supporting us. Thank you very much. We're gonna come our way again. Until we do, I'm saying bye for now. It's been a Comrade show, and it's been Comrade and Friends. We see you again when we see you. Have a good night.
Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Lante Oriake. Live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Lante Oriake. Live on Facebook and YouTube.